All right, SPY, rough day today, and it pretty much engulfed a lot of the previous days. Yeah, small body candles all the way up and engulfed all of these. If you want to look at the SPY, it actually is a little bit more telling. Um, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, so you see that if we take this and kind of look at really how much it's really engulfs, I mean, look at that. So this is, a day that, if you're long, you kind of, there was a lot of things that you should have gotten stopped out. So first and foremost, let's just kind of put it out there that getting stopped out is a part of trading and shouldn't be viewed as, it actually should be something that shows you that you have your discipline, you are willing to admit when you're wrong. Because a lot of people might not, still hold on to stuff and just take more damage than you need to. So we're going back all the way to the 24th from the 7th. So it's engulfed a lot of candles. We had a lot of small candles, and we've been trading this range for a little bit. So we kind of got to see, and when we look at the big picture of the weekly, we can see that we got to this top, and it's pretty much gave you a small kind of doji type of small body candle, and we got to see how this week is going to close, because the week is pretty tight as well. So we had the breakout, and kind of see where it's going to go. This could just be a small retracement to back up the upside, or this could be a full correction. Days like this shouldn't be taken lightly with heavy volume, however. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you don't know where it's going to go. Some people are instantly maybe started shorting from today, which could have been very profitable, but you got to be really nimble because things can turn around quickly. So let's continue to look at some other names. We look at Dow Jones. Dow Jones had a down 152, came back to this previous level, and we've been talking about this trading channel, and we thought we were going to pop up, but ended up it basically got up and then it flashed down. So currently, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We have bearish engulfing pattern at the top of the channel. So, and we have a close below the 10 so far. MACD starting to curl a little bit, so we just have to see what's going on. But again, you can see this clearly in the equity side, that you have a full engulfing pattern engulfing this, and kind of go from there. So just like I said, it's a part of trading, and we'll see what happens, where it goes. Don't try to estimate. Now you have a flag that we said yesterday, and these are the lines from yesterday, that we said, maybe a potential flag, and it continued to the downside in a rough way. So I mean, pretty much from the open, it pretty much just went down. And the open is right here. So it pretty much just went all the way down and continued. If you look at the IWM, that's the tradable instrument for this. And that's pretty much it. It really went down pretty much from the open. And yep, that's that. So we kind of just will see what happens from there. And this one, you definitely need to see it get above the 10. It's testing some major support, which is the 50-day exponential. And you could use exponential or simple. Quite honestly, it doesn't really matter in my book. But you saw the volume increased to the downside. And this is, right here, right now, would I continue to short this? I'd be very careful, and I'll make sure I'm as nimble as possible, so that they're not, last thing you want is that, you want to go short right now. I kind of would just wait to see if this happens again, and then you definitely know, you have bearish MACD, you kind of just say, if it happens again, because everything doesn't go straight up or straight down. When you got up, you say, oh, I missed it, and you could have got back up, consolidated a while, and then flashed down. So, oh, I missed it again. Well, you could have traded this yesterday and kind of went from there. So we'll just see exactly what was going on. We have the composite as well that flashed down as well. So that one was down hard, almost 2% a day is big. So we'll just see exactly how that kind of works out, and goes from there. Maybe this will be the continuation to go short, or we'll see what it looks like, let's say, from this weekly time frame. The weekly time frame still looks good, but it's definitely a time to look at some type of caution to say, okay, if this is a retracement to continue back up, you just have to understand that you might have to be a little quicker. Let's look at some names. Priceline, price line continued. We started to get above this. If you didn't get in here, or maybe you're looking at above high, once it came in here, it continued. Once it broke these lows, it continued to the downside, touching the 50 on high volume. So I don't know if this is exhaustion volume, but if you're long, you got some waiting to do, and that's fine. Just, don't be the person that wants to buy. When you buy or average down, basically you're saying that I know more than the market does, and that usually will deplete your account quicker than you will think. Amazon broke. We talked about this gap. It broke the gap up, so definitely want to see what's going on. If it can continue and get to this, at least this 336 level, and it closed at 343. So we'll kind of see how that works out. And what goes from there. But again, you just got to be cautious if you're looking for the long side. Facebook is continuing these lower highs, and we just kind of got to see what's going on in this area as well. So the only reason why I did that from the bottom of this, basically the tail of this candle, and it touched it once. Is it going to touch it again? And this kind of reminds me of what we were talking about for a couple days regarding Baidu, with that shooting star all the way over here from the weekly. And we just said, listen, it just needs to close above it, and it ended up not closing above it and actually breaking at this potential, that potential double top. You got the weekly curling down, and right now, to me, it's just, looking for a flag to maybe go back to the downside. You see this down channel has been broken, so that's something to be very, very cautious about. Tesla continued to the downside. I mean, if you look at the intraday, it pretty much went down from the start, and it gapped down. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, I wouldn't be going long here. I would actually be waiting for another opportunity, because what was once support becomes resistance. So if it flags up and comes down, well, you jump in. So we'll see how that goes from there. The other Elon Musk company, Solar City, is broken some key support that we were talking about, these pivot points here. So that's something that you really want to look at, and go from there. And the weekly doesn't look that good, because this is a shooting star happening that's engulfing all of this and coming down and closing below this previous one. So it's something to be aware of, and look at that volume increasing to the downside. So the volume, to me, can tell a lot. I try to make sure that I look at price action, exclusively, because again, price pays, and volume, can kind of tell you things. I usually try to use it for retracements and stuff like that versus anything else, because I don't want to be swayed by any other thing. Las Vegas Sands, again, gave you another engulfing pattern. Maybe this continues more to the downside. Maybe blows past this and maybe comes and fills this gap. Who knows? But let's look at the weekly. It's still above the 10 on the weekly, and you have the volume decreasing to the downside. So let's see how this closes for the weekly tomorrow, and where we can go from there. You got Yandex, that's another one engulfing pattern to the downside. So this one could definitely run a little bit more, at least down to this 34 level, and that's almost a 10% move down there from the last is 36, and you're talking about 30, $1.50. So that's about a 5% move. So it could definitely go back down to there. So we got to see how that one works out, because you see the volume was decreasing, and this one is increasing, to see how far it can go from an engulfing pattern. So don't want to get long-winded. Again, we'll see how some things go. There were some names that I was looking at. I was looking at this utility name, Dominion. That one just pretty much opened and pretty much just faded all the way down. I had Onico, or whatever you want to call it, same thing, pretty much just same thing. So pretty much just got in, and then pretty much just faded for the entire day. So we'll see how that works out. Let's look at Apple. I think I did look at Apple, but again, we're right at this previous swing point, which we can look at the weekly, and you could say, okay, this is pretty much a point that either is going to be support, or it's going to be resistance, but it's major different volume from last week. It's almost half of the volume to the downside. So maybe we could see some support regarding there. But again, you want to make sure that you're looking at the bigger picture of the saying, all right, well, what's the composite looking like? And if the composite looks good on the weekly and you feel like, you can just wait. If fill this gap, let's see what happens. If it flags up, take it from there. But as far as Apple, I wouldn't be going long right now, I'll tell you that. So if you don't feel like, listen, it's been bullish all year long, I don't want to go, maybe this line of help kind of show things. So you have the descending triangle going into place, the lower highs, here and down to here. And now it's breaking this base, but you also got to see if it could break the low of this day, which is 508.03. So again, has a lot of gaps. There's a gap back here, a huge gap actually. Is 490 to 475 area. So we just kind of got to look at things like that. So just keep that, and if you're long, just be cautious going long, and if you're short, make sure you're nimble, because these things, the volatility goes up, things can move very quickly. So trade them well. Take care.